Hello students, today we will be dealing with the topic that is climate change and greenhouse effect. We will see how these both of the topics are interrelated and what is the importance of these topics in the UPSC examination. Already many of the questions have been asked in the many of the examination of the UPSC. And these two topics are particularly related to GS paper 3 as well as GS paper 1. So what is climate change? Climate change is the cumulative change of the long-term weather pattern, that is change in the climate. So basically there is a difference between the weather and climate you should be knowing. A temporary difference in the temperature and precipitation, we can say that it is the weather, like in the morning the weather was different and in the evening the weather is different, while the climate is the long term average of the particular region's weather events. Are you getting my point? So the earth's climate is not static, it has changed many times. In recent time, normally it is attributed to human activities because we have changed the composition of the global atmosphere, right? So it means over the hundred of the years, what the change in the climate has been occurred, those things we are taking into consideration for the climate change part. If I am saying it is climate has been changed, how it is observed? The climate change is usually measured in major shifts in the temperature, rainfall, snowfall, wind pattern, mainly in the last 2 decades. Okay, so it is observable from the human being, as you can see, and your old parents can say that temperature nowadays are too high in the summer. Temperature and rainfall pattern has been changed over the years. You can see the frequent thunderstorm cyclonic patterns are there throughout the India's territory. Okay, so this is observable phenomenon. So human induced climate change, if we say, so mainly it is attributed to two of the factors. One is the deforestation and another is the burning of the large amount of the fossil fuels. And what are the fossil fuels? The coal, oil, natural gases, these are the fossil fuels. And due to deforestation, what happens? Because of the deforestation, the carbon storage capacity of the forest reduces. That's the first thing. As well as if you are burning that wood which has been occurred or which has been procured from the deforestation, that will be used as the fossil fuels and you will burn it, and again greenhouse gas will be emitted there. Are you getting my point? Fine. So these are the effects of the deforestation and the burning of the large amount of the fossil fuels. These are the mainly physical drivers of the climate change according to IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Every 2 years, the report of the IPCC is published, that is called assessment report. Fine. So let's see the definition of the global warming. So it is an average increase in the temperature of the atmosphere near the Earth's surface and in the troposphere, which can contribute to the changes in the global climate patterns. So it is an average increase. First thing you should notice, it is the average increase in the temperature of the atmosphere near the Earth's surface. The temperature change is near to the Earth's surface. And in troposphere is the lowermost part of the atmosphere, which can contribute to the change in the global climatic pattern. So global warming can occur from a variety of the causes, and it can be natural also and can be human induced also. Globally, we can say that since 1992, each year has been one of the warmest year on the record, and particularly this 2016 was the hottest year on the record worldwide. Fine. According to IPCC reports, around 2 degrees Celsius temperature can be changed by 2036. And what could be the impact of this global warming? So the impact is the rise in the sea level, changes in the rainfall pattern. We have observed also the change in the hurricanes, tropical cyclones, the melting of the ice caps, melting of the glaciers, and many of the animals populations are vanishing. Spread of disease, you can find that different kind of diseases are spreading, bleaching of the coral reefs and the loss of the planktons. So what is greenhouse? A greenhouse is the building made of glass chamber in which plants are grown in the colder countries, and cold climatic areas. Like tropical areas means we can say 23.5 north and south. Those areas which are coming under this are the heat surplus zone, and beyond that means beyond 23.5 north and south towards the polar region, we can say those areas are the heat deficit zone. And there, to grow the plants, we'll have to have certain kind of techniques so that these heats can be absorbed in a particular chamber. So this is the greenhouse effect. It means we are trapping that gas within the glass door. And from this prospects, we can say that plants are also protected from the frost also. So there is a continued increase in the temperature in the greenhouse even when the outside temperature remains low. Fine. So this greenhouse effect is also there in the atmosphere also, because it blankets the Earth's lower atmosphere and warms it. So to maintain the temperature which is suitable for the living things to survive, this greenhouse effect is very much necessary and it is quite natural. And many of the gases which are important in this are the carbon dioxide, the water vapor also. And according to one of the estimates, suppose this greenhouse effect would not have been there in the Earth's surface, then our average temperature, which is presently 15 degrees Celsius of the Earth, is there, it might have been there in minus 19 degrees Celsius. So it is too low for a habitable area for the birds, for the animals, as well as for the human beings also, because minus 90 degrees Celsius is too low, and there the biodiversity is should be very low, because you know that taiga and tundra is having very less vegetation as well as very less animal population. So these greenhouse gases plays a very much important role in balancing the earth's cooling and warming, and it plays crucial role in the warming of the earth's surface, and so that it can make it habitable. Fine. So we should see what is the heat budget. The sun's energy which is absorbed in the earth is mainly in the form of short wavelength, which is having high energy, and around 30% of the sun's energy is directly reflected back, and rest of the 70% are absorbed by atmosphere, clouds and surface of the earth. Once they have absorbed this emissions, this energy, it will be reflected back by the earth also, but it will reflect with longer wavelength. Okay, so incoming is the short wavelength and outgoing is the longer wavelength. It is the same temperature or the same radiation which is there in your remote. Ana? So this remote works on this wavelength only. The thermal, the infrared temperature, the infrared waves. So these waves are infrared waves, and these waves are mainly short waves, might be UV also. Fine. So if you know this thing, then you should know which of the energy is being trapped, which whether it is the short wave is being trapped or the long wave is being trapped. So we can say that this long wave radiation is being trapped by these greenhouse gases and greenhouse effects. Role of these greenhouse gases are that it can trap this long wave energy radiations which has been emitted from the earth's surface, and these greenhouse gases re-emit this energy, that infrared radiation, in all the directions, so it prevents it from escaping from the earth. The greenhouse effect works like this: earth's radiation is received, it has been absorbed by the earth, and it has been stored by greenhouse gases, and it has been re-emitted back in the all directions. That's why earth is being heated. Fine. So what is human roles? So human activities from 1750 has produced 45% increase in the atmospheric concentration, and 280 ppm was the concentration at the time of 1750. Now it is 415 ppm, so it is too high. So more of the energy is emitted by the earth, and it has been trapped by greenhouse gases. What are the greenhouse gases and how is the correlation between the greenhouse gases and the temperature? You can see the global temperature rise is correlating with the amount of the greenhouse gases which we are emitting. Fine. What are the greenhouses gases? The water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, ozone, chloroform, hydrofluorocarbon, these are the greenhouse gases, among which the water vapor is the most culprit. But it is the natural also, because humans are not directly responsible for this water vapor. So how human is indirectly responsible? Because human is producing this carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is increasing the temperature, and this increase in temperature will occur the water vapor to generate more rapidly. So it is water vapor is directly proportional to the amount of greenhouse gases in the air. Next greenhouse gas is the carbon dioxide. It is in natural circulation and it always works in the cycle, which is called carbon cycle. Starting from addition to the deletion, it means the reduction of the carbon dioxide, natural processes have been involved, be it atmosphere, oceans, soils, plants, and animals. More carbon dioxide has been added recently just because of the human interference. You can see from 1990 to 2010, most of the carbon dioxide emission is due to the developing economies, that is expanding economies, and it is because of the huge population out there, the India and China, while USA is the second largest greenhouse gas emitter. And cumulatively, if historical emission is considered, USA would be the largest greenhouse gas emitter. The most effective way to reduce carbon dioxide is to reduce this fossil fuel consumption, because it is the main source of the addition of the carbon dioxide. And we can use the another energy efficiencies mechanism like BEE, benefit of energy efficiency. From this question has been asked in the prelims. It is the need of our, means if you want to reduce the emission of the carbon dioxide, you will have to work on this energy conservation also. You will have to capture the carbon, and sequestration also you will have to follow by your bioengineering or any kind of techniques or geoengineering which is called. So you will have to store, or you will have to make arrangement for the storage of the carbon dioxide. Fine. Next greenhouse gas is the methane. Methane was emitted by natural resources from the mainly the wetlands because of the bacterial activity. Not only is these bacteria are there, other animals, species and germs also take part in the releasing of the methane, and that is quite natural also, like wildfire, the termites, ocean sediments and volcanoes. These are the main source of the methane. But again, due to human activities, raising of the livestock, leakage from the natural gas system, whenever we are extracting the fossil fuels, this natural gas is being emitted, and the prime component of this natural gas is the methane. Agriculture sector is the main culprit and the primary source for this methane emission. This methane is also generated from the waste also, from our home, our industries, our businesses. Even the domestic livestock such as we can say cattle, buffalo, sheep, goats and these camels also produce large amount of the methane as part of their normal digestive processes. So methane is also generated in the landfill activities also, like suppose you have the waste and you have filled into the land, that waste will decompose, and once you will treat that waste, it will again generate the methane, and once you will open that pit, again it will generate methane. Fine. So natural processes also add up this methane and also reduce this methane to the soil and from the soil. And various chemical actions also takes place in the atmosphere, like because of the sun also, in the presence of the sun also various chemical reactions are there, and which helps to remove this methane from the atmosphere. So natural additions also there and artificial addition is also there. Next most important greenhouse gas is the nitrous oxide. The nitrous oxide N2O, it is also present in the atmosphere as a part of the Earth's nitrogen cycle. Normally, nitrous oxide is also emitted during the breakdown of the nitrogen. In livestock manures also, it is emitted even from the urine also. and we can say around 6%, means around 6% of the nitrous oxide is emitted from this process only, the livestock, from urination, this process only. And bacteria normally works for the breaking down of the nitrogen which is present in the soil as well as ocean. Even this nitrous oxide is artificially generated from the synthetic fertilizers. You are applying synthetic fertilizer on your field, and while applying, the bacteria will act on these fertilizers, and again the emission process will be accelerated in this case. And also automobile sector produces this nitrous oxide. It is also generated from the industrial activities, like it is the byproduct of the nitric acid also. Whenever we will generate the nitric acid, we will produce the nitric acid, nitrous oxide will be generated. Even for the production of adipic acid, which is required for the fibers and the nylons, in that process also the nitrous oxide is released. But how to remove it? So normally it is absorbed by the certain type of bacteria, and it is destroyed by the ultraviolet radiation and the chemical reactions. So bacteria also emit the nitrous oxide and also destroys the nitrous oxide. Next greenhouse gas is the fluorinated gas. These have become the prime component for the refrigerant activities because these gases are used as an alternate to the ozone depleting substances like chlorofluorocarbon, and it is mainly produced during the industrial processes of the aluminum and semiconductor manufacturing. The fluorinated gas are well mixed in the atmosphere, and they are spreading around the world after they are emitted. It happens once it is added up into the atmosphere and completely mixed up, the emission place doesn't matter. Only the thing which matters is the how much mixings of these gases are there. These fluorinated gases have high global warming potential. It means it can generate more of the greenhouse gas effect. So these fluorinated gases are removed from the atmosphere only when they are destroyed by the sunlight and in far upper atmosphere. So in upper atmosphere it gets accumulated and it has been destroyed by the sun. So in general, the fluorinated gases are the most potent and the long lasting type of the greenhouse gases emitted by human activities. So next is the black carbon. Black carbon is the solid particle or aerosols. It is the solid particle, it's not gas, it's kind of soot. Fine. So black carbon warms the earth by absorbing the heat in the atmosphere and by reducing the albedo. What is albedo? It's the ability to reflect the sunlight, isn't it? So it absorbs the heat as well as it reduces the albedo. It also gets deposited into the snow and ice. So this black carbon is the strongest absorber of the sunlight. Even it darkens the snow patches so that it can absorb more of the sunlight. The main source of this black carbon is the biomass burning, cooking, diesel exhaust, and other automobile activities also. This black carbon have the life of only several days to weeks. So once you will stop the emission, after few weeks or after few months, you will see that all the black carbon has been settled down. That's why at this time, the COVID time, you can see the sky is completely clear just because this black carbon has been settled down. So black carbon disrupts the cloudiness and the monsoon rainfall. Even it can accelerate the melting of the mountain glaciers also, like it has happened in the Hindu Kush Himalayan mountains. According to one estimate, around 25 to 35% of the black carbon in the global atmosphere comes from China and India itself. And it is mainly due to the burning of the woods, cow dungs, and the normal household activities like cooking and burning of the coals and heating the homes. On these activities only, this black carbon is being emitted. Another concept is the climate forcing. Whenever we talk about effect of the greenhouse gas, we should know what is the climate forcing. So climate forcing is the increase or decrease in the effect of the climate system. It means if any of the gas is having positive forcing, it means it will warm the atmosphere. And if any of the gases is having negative forcing, it means we can say it is having the cooling effect. So some of the aerosols which are there, which are suspended in the atmosphere, like water, ice, ash particles, mineral dust particles, acidic droplets, these are having the negative forcings. They can impact the atmosphere by clouds. Earlier at the time of 1970s, we had thought of that earth is being cooled just because of the excessive production of these aerosols. A complete cloud cover with the dust particles were there, so sunlights were not able to penetrate. So continuously 2 3 years earth was cooled down, and because of the reduction of the temperature, we had thought of that earth is being cooled, while earth is not being cooled. It has temporary effect because it will get settled down. Once it will get settled down, then the gases which has been emitted will show its role. So it is having negative forcing. That's why global earth was cooling at that time. So how does the climate change due to these greenhouse gases? So these greenhouse gases affect the climate by their quantity, how much of these gases are there, by their stay in the atmosphere, till what time they will stay there, and third is how strongly do they impact the global temperature. These three parameters works on the greenhouse gases, on which we can segregate the greenhouse gases on the basis of their character. So how much of these gases means the carbon dioxide itself is not the polluter, isn't it? But suppose in this classroom I will close all the doors, you will feel suffocated just because the quantity of the carbon dioxide as compared to the normal composition, it has been changed and it has been increased. It means that it is the quantitative pollution, isn't it? So the concentration or abundance is the amount of the particular gas in the air causes it to be polluted. So we can measure it by 1 parts per million, 1 parts per billion, or 1 parts per trillion. What is 1 part per million? You can imagine a 1 drop of the water, if it is diluted into the 13 gallons of the liquid. So 1 drop, if it is diluted into the 13 gallons of the liquid, it will be like 1 part per million. Are you getting? How long it will stay also works for the greenhouse gases. Like some of the gases stay only for few years, and some of the gases even stay for the thousands of years. The problem with these gases are that it is well mixed up, and once it is mixed up, it doesn't matter from where it has been emitted and where it is showing its effect, because it is completely mixed up. Be it Amazon rainforest, be it Europe, or be it the most developed countries and most developing countries. The stay in the atmosphere matters also to the greenhouse gases. The most important impact of these greenhouse gases is the global warming potential. It means how much energy it is capable of absorbing, how much heat it is capable of absorbing, and it shows its global warming potential. So definition of the global warming potential is the total energy that a gas absorbs over a particular period of the time compared to carbon dioxide. So here the benchmark is the carbon dioxide. Fine. The global warming potential describes the impact of each gases on the global warming. So gases with the higher GWP absorbs more energy per pound rather than gases with lower GWP. We can see the table here. Like here the carbon dioxide is there. So carbon dioxide has a GWP of 1, and it serves as the baseline for the other GWP values. Like for methane. Methane is having 21 GWP. What does it mean? It means that methane will cause 21 times as much warming as an equivalent mass of the carbon dioxide over a hundreds of years, isn't it? So we can say methane is having GWP more than 20 times higher than the carbon dioxide, isn't it? Over the 100 years time scale, we can say. So methane emitted today will last for 12 years. So that's why it is the problem, because it has the higher GWP. Even for these fluorinated gases also, you can see 6,500 times, 23,900 times effect of these gases are there, and it has the lifetime 3,200. So we can say this fluorinated gas traps substantially more heat compared to carbon dioxide. Fine. So you can see the chain here. Suppose fossil fuel is emitted, it will increase the greenhouse gases, it will increase the green global warming potential, it will affect the climate, it will melt the glacier, it will cause the flood and drought situation, it will submerge the coastal lying fields and large scale disruption in the ecosystem. So this kind of charts you can draw in your mains. Fine. Some of the quiz which has been asked from this topic, like the increasing amount of the carbon dioxide in the air is slowly raising the temperature of the atmosphere because it absorbs first the water vapor of the air and retains its heat. The UV part, all the solar radiation, infrared part. So you know that these greenhouse gases trap the long wave radiation, and we have discussed that long wave radiations are the infrared radiations, isn't it? So the infrared part of the solar radiations are being trapped by these greenhouse gases. So what should be the correct answer? The correct answer should be answer D. So among the greenhouse gases, only the water vapor has the ability to absorb both UV rays as well as infrared radiation. Fine. Next question which has been asked in UPSC, like for CFC, which is known as the ozone depleting substances, which is used in the production of the plastic foams, tubeless tires, electronic components, or pressurizing agents in the aerosol cans. So question is straight, so answer should be straight also. If you know the fact, you will be able to solve directly. So the correct answer should be, it is used in the plastic foams, it is used in the electronic components as well as aerosol cans, but it is not used in the tubeless tire. So answer should be answer C. Fine. Next question which has been asked in UPSC, greenhouse gas protocol. There is a certain protocol. It is an international accounting tool for the government and the business leaders to understand, quantify and manage the greenhouse gases emission. Is it true? Let's see. Next point. It is an initiative of the United Nations to offer financial incentives to developing countries to reduce the greenhouse gas emission and to adopt eco-friendly technologies. It is an intergovernmental agreement ratified by all the members countries of the United Nations to reduce the greenhouse gas emission by 2020. It is one of the multilateral RED initiative hosted by World Bank. So here you can see the protocol is here. So we have already discussed what's the difference between the convention and the protocols. If you know the difference, you will be getting certain hints. Like the protocol is the specific mechanism, specific tool, specific rules on which we will determine certain phenomena. So answer A is correct. The detail is here. It is an international accounting tool reporting the standards, sector, guidance, calculation and training for the business and the governments, and what process must be involved during a business activities and the governmental activities. Fine. So we have finished this climate change part and global warming part as well as greenhouse gases part. Thank you.